Hello, I'd like to make a video for the last day of the year and also to express my wishes for 2025. And I thought about during several days what I will wish for my colleagues of research, for my friends, for my family around the world, and in which language I would say those wishes. And I decided to speak English because many of you are around the world, spread around the world, in Africa, in Asia, in Mexico, in North America, in Europe. And we all understand each other in our international meetings in English. So I chose it by commodity because I can reach all the people I love, I think. And that is far away tonight from Montreal. And I would like to say that there is an interconnection in between healing, holy, and creation. And the process, the creation process, the painting process, the writing process, the singing process, the dancing process, the art process in general, and the healing process, they have some points that are very common and that can match together. And all that the people that follow my work this year follow my idea of a gray zone, a transdisciplinary zone that is a gray zone, that is a non-binary zone in space and time, where we can solve our deep conflicts and where we can understand each other better. Why? Because in a binary zone, we are in a position of doing, and most of the time, it is an Aristotelic view. I mean, it is A or non-A, right or wrong, beautiful or ugly, fair or unfair, good or bad. And this binary positions do not allow us to really take in account the presence of human compassion that leads to human understanding. And that doesn't mean that there is not a right and wrong and fair and unfair. But we sometimes must go beyond what we see and beyond what we do and beyond appearances, beyond masks. And we have masks in all over the world. We have the Venetian masks. We have the No theater, Japanese theater masks. We have the African masks. And in all the traditions, we have Brazilian carnival masks. And we have also the terrible masks of those who sometimes have to kill someone, and they wear a mask. Why? Because behind the mask, there is naked, the human face, and the human face is something that Levinas said that you don't see, is something that you hear. Is like in nowadays in a computer society, it's like to mix up the hardware with the software. The mask is the hardware. The human face is the software. It's something that you hear, that you cannot limit, that is infinite, as say Emmanuel Levinas. So in a binary world of right and wrong, in a doing world of object word that is the world where we live, we most of the time judge instead of understanding. And it's very interesting. In transdisciplinarity, we have Edgar Morin ethics that speaks so much about the necessity of understanding. We have a lot of communication, but we don't understand each other, he says. And a gray zone is not a place where A and B are different. It's a zone where we enter the undoing. Sometimes we have to undo things to understand each other better, to undo ties, to undo representations we have from some people. We have to deconstruct. And in the healing process, it's the same thing. Sometimes we believe that some behaviors are right, but when we get sick, we have to deconstruct those behaviors, those attitudes, those beliefs, and enter a zone where we will have to acquire new ways of seeing things, of understanding things. So in a gray zone, we are not only doing, we are also undoing. As in a creation process, if we have the ambition to grow, sometimes we need to undo some work that we judge were good at a long time ago. We see and we say, no, I have to do it again. And for that, I have to undo my work. And this undoing part is one of the tactics of the gray zone. The other is the non-action, the not doing, doing nothing, absolutely nothing, taking the time to observe, to distance ourselves, to not interfere, to not say a word, to not answer a phone, to stay quiet. That has a lot to do with the art process, because in the art process we have contemplation moments that are very, very important, that we just observe and we let the reality work on us. And sometimes it's beauty that we observe, and we let this beauty invade us, inspire us, work on us before we do something, before we sing a song, before we compose a poem, before we write a love poem or an angry poem, because in art we can say whatever. And that's so beautiful. There is a time of doing, not acting, that is very near also to a holy process, because this time of contemplation of the artist, of the poet, is also the same space of the monk silence when he is looking inside himself, and when he enter in touch with his inner word, that is not a word of doing, of appearances, of right or wrong, because it's a messy word. When we look inside, for real, in ourselves, we have a deep complexity. And I would like to quote René Barbier. I have no idea how I'm going to translate that in English, but he says, le fond de l'être est flou. So deep inside, we are not clear. We are not transparent. We're kind of fuzzy. Deep inside, we are fuzzy. And this is very deep, because we are not in a right or wrong reality, not when we dream, not when we think, not when we meditate, not when we contemplate. We are receiving things without judging and having our emotions. And our emotions sometimes can be very unpleasant and sometimes very pleasant. So there is no right and wrong when we enter in the inner world of a human being. We have not to try to judge what is going on, but to understand what is being think deep inside. This is very different of what he thinks for the word, of what he says of himself, of what he says for the others. I'm speaking about our reality when we meditate, when we contemplate ourselves, and when we don't lie to ourselves, and when we open a space with no masks to the true human face, that is this face that Levinas says that we don't see, that we listen, like a software, like a voice. So in the gray zone, we undo. In the gray zone, we don't do. And in the gray zone, we are done together. And that's amazing. That leads us to another level of reality. We are not anymore in the level of reality of the objects, but we are in the invisible reality of the conscious and the unconscious, of the conscious that is individual and the conscious that is collective, the collective intelligence, as I learned in Nayai, Tokyo. And there is the collective unconscious. So we are made one by the other. We can be made one by the other when we are really in a situation of truth, of put cards on the table, when we play fair, to try to understand one is A, the other is non-A, or one is A, or the other is B. We are different. But we want to reach an understanding, so we must go beyond our representations and create a third representation that is superior to the sum of our parts. Like a group, when a group worked together, and we had wonderful moments this year And not only in the CIRED, le Centre International de Recherche Transdisciplinaire, as well in our Mexico celebration, word celebration, where we were several transdisciplinary groups among the word, trying to understand each other from one place of the planet to another, from Mexico to United States, to Canada, to Brazil, to Japan, to Europe. And it was to Africa. It was a wonderful moment of being done because of what was happening there. And we stood 10 hours online. Those who participate from this celebration, the TD chart celebration, we stood 10 years, 10 hours online. It seems like 10 years. And it was amazing. We understood each other. Even if we didn't spoke the same language, we understood that we were living something precious that was bigger than ourselves, that went beyond ourselves. And we were not in the same level of reality where A and B are separate, or A and non-A are separate. We were on a level of reality where A and B are the same. And this is so important to experience in life, where A and B are the same, when they go hand in hand, when they agree one with another. And that is so seldom in our world. So in the gray zone, there is a moment where A and B, or A or non-A, they go hand in hand to understand what's going on and how they can solve the conflict, how they can solve the conflict they're going through, how they can go beyond the conflict, how they can meet each other, and how they can make meaning together. And I think that at that moment we were exactly like an orchestra. We were playing together. Each one has its part, but we were able to play together and to sing together our song, as we say in Africa. When we speak the truth, we sing our song, and we are able to sing our song together. So it's very important and very interesting to teach people to go beyond the binary material observer zone, to enter the gray zone, to solve their own conflicts and their conflicts with one another. So it's precious. It's precious to know not only to do, but sometimes to undo the things we've done, and sometimes to not do anything, and sometimes to be done together. Why I say this creation path has to do with the healing path, because sometimes in the healthcare field, we have to stop doing things. When we are sick, for instance, we have to accept to undo some representations. We have to accept to be patient. We have to accept to not do anything and to wait what people will tell us to do, and to wait the process of healing to occur. And sometimes we can do nothing but wait, but be patient. And sometimes we are done one by another, because when someone says to someone who is sick, you're safe, you're in security here, you're understood, you're seen, you're taken care of, and we're going to go through this together. Oh my God. Then we heal people, not forever, but for a moment in time. So sometimes we need to trust one another. It's so important. And oh my God. So my vote is that in 2025, we have peace and understanding, more peace, more understanding, because it's a long way to teach this gray zone path. Transdisciplinary gray zone path is a long way. But I do believe, like John Baez, that we shall overcome someday and that we shall have peace because we stop to accuse people, to tell people you're right, you're wrong, you're good, you're bad, to try to understand what's going on and to try to go beyond the image, the mask, the fake face, and to reach the truth together. And the truth, as say Aristotle, is always forgiveness. The truth is never an accusation, is never something that makes you suffer, that makes you feel bad, that makes you feel uncomfortable. The truth set us free, and it's the truth put us one near the other, not away, but together, because deep inside, A and B, they are the same. Deep inside, they are human beings. Deep inside, they are born with a naked face. And deep inside, they are the same kids that had no masks when they were kids. And they learned to survive those masks and those fake representations of the reality. That means that we are only what we see. We are far beyond what we see. We are far beyond what we do. We are all we don't do, or we undo, and all we are done by. So I wish this understanding, this transdisciplinary understanding of the healing process or the holy process or the creation process whatsoever will help the groups that we are, the family groups, to understand each other better, to learn to be together, to learn to be by themselves, and to be a little more happy. Happy because when we are together, when we have compassion, when we have understanding, we have joy. We have a deep joy. So thank you very much. Namaste. Happy New Year. And see you very soon in a next video.